Hello and welcome to my first video where I walk through the procedures that I follow to fly this aircraft, which is the Airbus A320neo on the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. So now let's get into the cockpit, ignite the batteries, start them up, 2 and 1, and connect the external power, and the aircraft should come to life. As we hear that, we see various lights in the overhead panel, and the self-test is running for all the e-cams and displays. So while that continues, let's continue on here. Let's turn on the nav and logo lights to signify that we have power connected to the aircraft. Seatbelt, no smoking, and external lights to arm. Crew supply to on. Now let's turn on the ADIRs and put them to nav mode so that they can align. So MCDU menu, so this let's get here and go to the initialization page, where we will enter in the information regarding what airport we are at and our destination. So today we are at Brussels Airport, so this is Echo Bravo Bravo Romeo, and we are inbound to Lima Echo Mike Delta. Lima Echo Mike Delta is Madrid. So now that we've entered the airport information, we can go to the initialization page for the IRS and line them. Let's see if this will... Okay, there we go, confirmed. So now the MCDU, the plane, knows where we are, and so it is aligning to this position for the navigation. We are going to be cruising at flight level 350, 35,000 feet. Our cost index will be 80. This represents how much fuel it will burn. And so our flight number, we can make something up in this case. So we are Echo Sierra Juliet 10 to represent EasyJet 10. Why not? Our flight number in US, that was because we used this flight number previously. So now let's go 11, EasyJet 11. Wonderful. So here now, let's go to actually the flight plan, and let's enter the departure information. So let's verify the runway that we can depart off of from the weather information. Echo Bravo Bravo Romeo and Lima Echo Mike Delta. So we've entered in the weather information, the TAFs for both of the airports, so we can know what to expect, what weather. And as we see here, for our current airport in Brussels, we have some very fun weather coming up. So we have 230 coming, the wind coming from 230 at 23 knots, gusting at 36 knots. So the takeoff should be pretty fun. And the cloud cover scattered at 1,700, broken at 2,800, temperature 6, 2.3, QNH 1010. So let's set that in now actually. Go to QNH 010, perfect. Okay, so now that we know the wind information, we can decide which runway to depart from, because we need a thing as close as possible to a headwind while we depart. So we're going to be departing from runway 25 right, and we will be selecting the Charlie India Vector 2 Delta SID transition. SID, sorry, not transition, just the SID for today. And then our destination, Lima Echo Mike Delta. So here. And now let's see the information where we selected to go. So we're going to be landing at runway 32 left, and then our star will be here, and we don't need any approach BS because we want to keep this simple and efficient. And also we are not going by ATC, so that entails of course less flight planning and seats and stars and so forth. So here, yeah, we have a pretty good looking flight plan, but let's just verify that with our map here, so we can inspect each waypoint to make sure that they make sense. So departing 25 right, okay, so here we're gonna make a left turn towards the south, and then continuing on to these waypoints, and we're going to come in for a right turn, right traffic, into 32 left in Madrid. And so according to this, our flight plan looks pretty good. It makes sense. No extremely strange turns and waypoints overlapping one another. So we are good for the flight plan. So we can go back to the arc mode, and then here let's go to initialization page. So the simulator has already calculated the zero fuel weight and the center of gravity, so we're going to just manually insert that as well there. And then our block fuel, we're going to be going at 10 because we're going to insert 10,000 kilograms for fuel. So now let's refuel the airplane and come here, and why not connect the jet bridge, the field truck, the baggage, and the catering truck. So here we're going to enter in 10,000 kilograms. Let's go here. If this will cooperate, let's see. No, not 1 kilogram, we need 10,000. Excellent. That's really nice. Perfect. So 10,000 kilograms, we have that. Let's verify that with the fuel on board. 10,000. Perfect. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but hear the winds outside. It's gusting pretty strongly. So that is another sign we're going to have a fun time departing. Just once again, the amazing sounds bring it to ultra realistic realism, brought to you by fly-by-wire simulations, providing this aircraft, the A320neo, for the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. In my opinion, it's the best aircraft that you can get, especially if it's free. It's amazing, and the fly-by-wire team is constantly pushing out updates for this aircraft, and it just keeps getting better and better. And I'm no real world pilot for the A320, or I don't fly commercial airliners. I am a student pilot at the moment, trying to get my pilot's license. I fly the Cessna, Piper, and still though, you can just feel the realism, the immersion in this aircraft. Makes me feel like I'm flying in real life. So now let's get back here. So 0 fuel weight, everything looks good, and our flight plan looks good. So let's go to the pre-flight information. So our V speeds, so these are going to be for our takeoff speeds. We're going to enter in 132 knots is our V1 speed, 135 for rotation speed, and V2 is 140. Transition altitude is going to be 15,000 today. First reduction, we're going to go to 2,000, and This represents when we're going to see the message on this display here, stating that we need to set climb thrust. So we're going to set it at for 2000, 2500. So once we reach that altitude, we can reduce the thrust to climb thrust from takeoff. So since we're going to be having some strong winds, we're going to take off with toga thrust. So this is pretty much full power. But at the meantime, we can set the flex temperature to 45. So here, okay, this decided to pop up the fuel information. So yes, everything looks good. And then we can set our flaps. We're going to be going flaps 2, or no, flaps, let's go flaps 1 this time, because we have some strong winds, so we can reduce some of the drag. And we don't need to set the trim in any specific configurations. We can put up 0.0. Okay, perfect. And this pretty much does the work for the MCDU. That's pretty much what we need to do. Now let's give this some brightness so we can see. So brighten up this place here and the other MCDU, and let's go to the other side here. Excellent. So everything looks good. We don't have any warnings here. Let's go to do some testing here of the fire. So we have the sound, and unfortunately I can't go down there to view the message on the eCam for when we do the fire test, because the camera looks doesn't allow me pretty much. So but we can verify that it is working by the sound and the lights shown up here. That's the APU. So now let's go to engine 1 fire test, engine 2. Excellent. So we have all the lights and the sound functioning. So now let's get our APU, our auxiliary power unit, turned on. So now we don't have to rely anymore on the external power. So APU page automatically comes up. Once the flap is open, we can press the start button. So now the auxiliary power unit is starting, and we can see the percentage here is rising, EGT rising, and so we should see some exhaust coming back from the APU here. Very nice sounds. Wonderful. So now we should see, once the APU is alive and powering the aircraft, we should see these values come alive. Excellent. So now we have the message APU available. So we're going to do a power transfer from the external power to the APU, as we can hear on that sound. So now the aircraft is not relying on any external power to power itself. So now we can get ready to disconnect the jet bridge. Let's see, call baggage, fuel, catering, can get rid of that. So excellent. Oh no, they want to come back again. Interesting. So let's get rid of that. So let's see, this will do the trick. Thank you, yes, we already had your service, we don't need you again. So perfect. Now we can get ready for the pushback. So let's verify everything's closed. Yep, it's closed. And our doors here. everything looks closed. Excellent. Let's get some air conditioning flowing by the APU bleed. So the APU bleed connects to the air conditioning, or the packs here. Packs 1 and 2 are functioning. So now we have air conditioning, oxygen supplying to the cabin and pressurization. So now here, let's see, any other information should be aware of. Everything is good. The bleed, let's see, 24 degrees, so it's not too hot, not too cold inside. Air is flowing accordingly on this side as well, and flowing from the APU. Excellent. So we don't see any red or yellow colors on these circles, which represent that it is closed. The air flow is closed, and so we don't want that. So the air is working properly from the APU. Pressurization, excellent. So the valve is open. Cabin altitude is correct because we're not flying, so it makes sense for it to be 50. Electricity, we don't have the generator 1 and 2 on because the engines are not on yet, so we have instead the APU generator powering the aircraft. The AC1, AC2 values look excellent, nothing yellow or anything we need to worry about, and batteries are functioning as well. Hydraulics, not yet, because we don't have the engines on yet. Fuel, you can see how much fuel we have. APU, we're there. Conditioning, so air is flowing perfectly. Doors, wheel. Once we get the aircraft on, the fuel decided to come back again. So once we get the aircraft on with the engines, we can take a look again at the wheels when the hydraulic pressure powers them. The brakes, steering, flight controls, nothing yet, and system status normal. So we're going to get ready for pushback now, and the pushback on this is a bit buggy, so wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden we just go back at 1,000,000 miles an hour because that happens sometimes, but let's hope it doesn't. So let's release the parking brake and let's connect the tug here. See, already it's just freaking out even though it's not connected yet. So look at that. I just, yeah, it's freaking out. Okay, and the aircraft is magically being pushed back already with the fuel torque there for some reason. I mean, of course there is still some bugs, what can you do, but regardless, this is still amazing. So now let's move, so we can insert the speed. So hopefully this doesn't, okay, so hopefully, yeah, it doesn't go back all of a sudden. We are moving. So now let's get our beacon lights on.
Flight attendants, arm doors, and cross-check.
Okay, let's close this cockpit door so we don't hear the flight attendants as much as the information is great that they say. Just don't want to hear that right now. So perfect. So beacon light is on, everything works. So let's turn off the packs. So air conditioning is off. We're going to put the ignition to start position and then starting engine 1.
Tight. To release, just lift the top flap of the buckle. Please keep your seatbelt fastened low and tight across your lap, even when the seatbelt sign is off, and have it visible to the crew at all.
Excellent. So the fuel has entered into the engine, and it is continuing the second phase of the start. EGT rising, and 1 rising, PSI rising, perfect, and 2, excellent. So let's see if we can get this aircraft to turn to where we want it to turn. Excellent. So we're going to start the second engine. Now the first engine started and the N1 is at 19, exactly the values that we like. So the engine is starting, then we're going to hear the fuel ignite. And let's stop this, let's try to stop it. Now we hear the fuel igniting in the engine. Okay, great. So happy that this didn't break the plane this time. Okay, so parking brake. We can remove the tug so that the plane stops shaking like that for no reason. Okay, so services, everything is good. Any changes? Looks like it has changed a little bit, the tough. Maybe there's no longer any gust. Oh wait, never mind, there are gusts still. So, okay. Still should be an interesting departure. Okay, we are not on the center line, but that's okay for this time. So, we can put the engine ignition to normal. Then we can get the air conditioning back on, packs 1 and 2. We can kill the APU and the APU bleed, obviously. Taxi light on. So, put the wing light on. And then we're going to set the altitude. We're just going to go unrestricted climb to 350 as we planned. And then we're going to get our multi-scan, GCS, weather radar on, and predicted wind shear on. Especially this time we need it compared to normal flights, because you can expect some gusts, and if there's any wind shear, we need to be well aware of that. So auto, well, we can put this to standby for now, and then to all squawk code. Ideally the ATC would have given this to us, but for the purpose of the simulation we can keep it at this value. And so now let's do some flight control tests. Flight controls. So full up, full down, full left, and full right, neutral. And we're going to pedal full right, pedal full left, neutral, and that is checked. Look it up from the outside as well. Excellent, so the flight controls are working. Now, let's see. Let's set the ground spoilers to armed. Flaps 1. So we should see the flaps. Excellent, so they're position. Auto brake to maximum cabin, and call the cabin to let them know we are ready. And then let's move. Let's start to taxi. We're back on the center line. Let's see, has the QNH changed? No, it hasn't. We can keep that. Let's It's verified, taxi light, everything's on, working, yeah. And let's test the takeoff configuration. So this verifies that we have everything we need for departure and no blue. Nothing blue we see on this information. And we are good. So now let's go back. Taxi here. So let's get to runway 25 right. You can see in the map. It will load. Perfect. It's going to be departing this way. Excellent. So yeah, let's just get there and we can depart and continue our climb. And that will mark it for the first recording where I narrate over the procedures that I follow and take you guys for a takeoff. And of course in real life we would adhere to the HTC instructions, taxiing on the taxiways that they request and following the traffic protocols and etc. But for the purpose of this simulation we're just going to casually fly peacefully without any ATC and just enjoy the sounds, the complete flying aspects of the simulation. So we put the constraints to let us know if there are any altitude constraints that we cannot climb or anything special regarding altitudes on the waypoints. Let's get the wipers. You know, that's actually a bit loud, so let's put that down. Even for me, I think that should be a little bit quieter. Maybe they can fix that on the simulation of the aircraft, the windshield wipers. But anyways, yeah, let's see how this video turns out, and I hope to be making some more in the future. And yeah, I'm just excited to get my license soon to be a private pilot, and I'm not too sure of the extent of the licenses that I'll get for aviation for pilot, because I don't think I want to be a commercial pilot flying for airliners, etc. I would prefer to own a business with my own aircraft and something related to aviation and business in aviation, having my own aircraft and just being able to enjoy flight in this way. So here we have, let's get ready for departure since we are at the intersection prior to entering the runway. Now we can get the landing lights on, turn off lights, and let's see, after we climb out of the clouds we should expect some very beautiful views.
Flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff.
There we have the annunciator, the captain recording, announcing that we're ready for takeoff. We can arm the TCAS to TARA, ATC to auto. All the values look good. Excellent. And yeah, it looks like we are ready for departure out of Brussels. And let's get on our way to Madrid. So, release parking brake. So although there's no other traffic, you can check the final, and then check on the runway if there's any traffic, and none, so it's perfect. And here, oops, we were supposed to go on the left side. That is an error on my part. It's a little confusing there. And also because we were paying attention to the traffic. So let's get back on to runway 25 right. Excellent, so now we are on the runway, and let's get ready to depart. We have all the lights, everything verified, and we can turn the packs off for this one, so we can have full concentration of power to the engines. And let's get ready. So chrono timer on, and let's go. So engines to 40%, 45 stable, advancing levers to Manitoba SRS runway auto thrust blue. It's checked. 100 knots, release forward pressure. V1 speed, rotate. Okay. Nice winds, and we have positive rates, so we can put the gear up. Excellent. Seems like the winds have died down. We're only getting a crosswind of 6 knots. Okay, perfect. So we are continuously climbing. We're going to keep the speed a little bit high just in case if we run into any wind shear. So we've approached the altitude in which we need to derate the thrust to climb thrust. So no visibility outside, we're in the clouds flying IFR. Beautiful textures and rain effects. So we can get the spoilers disarmed and the lights, packs 1 and 2, the landing lights on because we're below 10,000 feet. So let's get some light to this. Beautiful clouds. Wow, that's so nice. I mean, just look at this. That is perfect. Okay, let's not miss the turn here. So we need to turn intercept the following waypoint. So let's fly the correct heading. Mind-blowing. So here we're 160. Let's increase the speed a little bit, reduce our rate of climb, because as we know the rate of climb decreases as we increase altitude due to air density. So we've crossed 10,000 feet, so we can get rid of the landing lights. Let's make this turn. Look at that, already 3 minutes, only about 3.5 minutes, and we're at 11,000 feet. So that's an insane climb. Also because we're carrying a pretty light payload. So we've reached the flaps 0 speed, so we've speed checked and flaps are 0. We can see here the slot is retracting. Beautiful. point, this waypoint. Let's start turning. And now we've reached this waypoint. We're going to go to Charlie, India Vector, which is 21 nautical miles away from here. We are increasing the speed. I mean, just look at this view. It's just so amazing. So amazing, really. I love flying. So we have, let's see, well, we were 15,000 feet. Now let's set this to standard. So standard will cost just passing flight level. Let's see, 156, 15,000 feet, and approaching 16,000 feet. Our speed indication is looking great. I'm surprised we encountered no wind shear, no special gust. I mean, this I guess it died down a little bit prior to departure, and then another storm might be coming now there, so we just took off in the middle of it before we could get another storm. Now let's get back on this waypoint, let's get back on track, and then climb a little bit more to reach the appropriate speed that we've selected here at 290. And just look at this views, just can't get enough. So we can engage the autopilot at the moment, so now we can enjoy the views as much as we can. With the lights off, everything is good. Let's see here. Should be an awesome view once we cross above these clouds here, this thin layer of clouds. Do some cloud surfing, as they call it. This is just amazing. It reminds me of like little mountains, just white mountains. And I mean, I keep saying mountains are my favorite part of nature, but clouds, I mean everything about nature is just, I keep saying one thing is my favorite over the other, and then I keep changing my mind every day because it's hard to grasp the beauty of clouds and anything that you see with nature. So we should be any second passing above this layer of clouds. You just see a beautiful blue sky. And that will be an amazing view. The next recording I'll do will be a sunset or sunrise flight, so we can see another set of beautiful colors, all the rich orange, yellow, red colors, because that's just next level, really. So let's see. Anything changed? The wind is now 070 at 6 knots on my grid. So nothing really. And then we can get rid of the fasten seatbelts so the passengers can relax. do what they need to do. I set this to standard as well. Have everything in sync. Let's see, now we're passing to the clouds. Let's see this view. We got some more clouds up there, so it'll be a little bit longer. So in the meantime, let's check the ECAM status of everything. Bleed pressurization, we shouldn't have anything from the RAM or APU showing up. So that is closed, and then everything else here. The PSIs, the values are excellent. Pressurization, temperatures, everything is green. Cabin pressurization, so there's no issues with pressurization of the cabin. The speeds, feet per minute, and the pressures. Electric, let's see, any view yet? No. Still going through the clouds. Electric, so our batteries powering. DCs, AC1, AC2. So our generators, hydraulics, green, blue, yellow, our fuel. Any view yet? Still not yet. APU, there shouldn't be any information. Conditioning, so we have the air flowing, perfect. Doors good. Wheels, nothing to see. Flight controls. Let's see anything on the system. The status is normal. So we are all set. Oh, look at that. I mean, that's just, you know, every single time I fly, either in real life, on an aircraft of this type, the A320 or even larger, or when I fly myself in a Cessna or a Piper, it's just nothing compares to this feeling of flying above the clouds, seeing these views. It makes literally all the problems that you have, you know, anything going on in life, it makes everything look so small, because it's all down there, all these problems. Meanwhile, you're up here above everything, nothing between you and the infinite space, the sky of the earth, beautiful clouds, scenery below. It's just nothing like it, nothing. So we are here 12 minutes and 20 seconds already at 33,000 feet. We'll be leveling off at 350, and our speeds 0.786, 785, about that, 787, and we've burned 1,000 kilograms of fuel. We're almost there already. And upon arrival, we'll have 6.5 tons of fuel, 690 nautical miles until we arrive. And that is it, folks. I'm just going to keep cruising along until we arrive to our top of descent, where we will descend into Madrid and take it from there. So that's it for today, for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the video and the experience, and I will see you next time, and have a good day and take care of yourself.